And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Proud to be here with you inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here for you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. At least we typically always go beyond 11 o'clock, but happy to have you here. Happy to be talking with you this morning where sports truly meets that thing called life as we get set and ready to go in the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Happy to be here with you every week, bringing you fantasy football coverage inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And this Fantasy Football Power Hour is proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, the place to watch the games every single week. Head out to the Wildcat 7 days a week to the Wildcat, and we look forward to having you out there at the Wildcat Sports Pub inside of the Home Depot Plaza, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Go and see them for dining in on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus. And for takeout and delivery, call the Wildcat at 315-487-2222. So, as we're here in week 4, I want to remind everybody that you have the opportunity to reach out to us. We've had a ton of questions flood in through the first 3 weeks of the NFL's 2025-26 season, and you can reach us from anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcallDT, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. You can also find us by going to wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So make sure that you head to any one of those avenues and get in touch with the show. We always appreciate you watching and listening to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora all throughout the week. And, of course, here on Wednesdays for the Fantasy Football Power Hour. So we got a lot of teams to go through, a lot of games and matchups here in Week 4 of the NFL's season. We have 3 out of 4 divisions in the AFC with a 3-0 team, and 3 of 4 divisions in the NFC with a 3-0 team. We also have 4 teams that are currently 0-3 and a bunch of divisions that have no 0-3 teams. So a lot of stuff going on in the NFL early on, some things that surprise people, some things that have not. I think surprising for you all, the Indianapolis Colts being 3-0, as well as the Los Angeles Chargers being 3-0, and every game that they played was in division. So they're in the best footing of any team in the NFL because they don't just have 3 wins, but they have a win over every single one of their adversaries in the AFC West, which will help them when it comes playoff time. And the only loss that the Raiders, Broncos, and Chiefs have are to the Los Angeles Chargers. So like I said, the Colts surprising at 3-0. Buffalo Bills not surprising at 3-0. Chargers surprising there. Eagles not surprising to be 3-0. Tampa Bay Bucks have come back a couple times to do it. And the San Francisco 49ers are 3-0 with the majority of that time featuring backup quarterback Mac Jones with Brock Purdy out. God willing, Brock Purdy will be well and able to come back in sooner than later. And at the same time, do you stay with Mac Jones and ride the hot hand? I know your starter's your starter, but even if Brock Purdy's healthy, would you not put Mac Jones out there for the beginning of the game to see how things go and if he continues to move the team in the right direction? And if that's happening, then keep him in. And if it's not happening, well, then you shift to your starter who's waiting in the wings to go out there. The 0-3 teams, the New Orleans Saints, not surprising because they seem to be all over the place before the season started. The Giants, not surprising, as they're trying to figure things out. Texans, surprising at 0-3. The Titans, I'm not surprised at 0-3. I said there was 4 teams that are 0-3, and that's in the AFC. There's actually 6 teams overall that are... There's 6 teams that are 3-0 and 6 teams that are 0-3. Only 2 defeated teams in the NFC at 0-3 with the Giants and the Saints. But in the AFC, we have the Jets, the Dolphins, the Texans, and the Titans. And that's only 2 divisions. The AFC East with the Jets and the Dolphins, the AFC South with the Texans and the Titans. Everyone in the AFC North and AFC West has won at least 1 game so far. So that's what it looks like as we take a look around the country as we get into this NFL Week 4 of the 2025-26 season. If you have any questions, you need some fantasy football advice, make sure you send it over to us here in the feed, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. We answer them how they come in, so make sure you get in the feed and get into it quick, as we will be running down the line here, and I'll be looking at your questions and looking to assess what we can do to help you out to the best of my ability as we go through this week 4 in the NFL. So appreciate you being here with us, and make sure you share this with family, friends, coworkers, colleagues, and neighbors, as we always love talking NFL with you, and of course, the fantasy football element to the National Football League. So let's get into our first game, which will bring us into Thursday night football, and that first game that we have will take us to a divisional matchup in the NFC West between the Seahawks and the Cardinals, and the Cardinals playing at home in Glendale, Arizona. So we'll start with the Seattle Seahawks, as they are the road team. The Seahawks have been not the greatest to start off this season. The Arizona Cardinals, the Seahawks are 2-1. The Arizona Cardinals, as we look at them, this is a team that has the talent, but the question is, how consistent will the Cardinals be, right? They're 2-1 as well, so this is a divisional opportunity to put one team above the other team and create that head-to-head separation. And so this will be interesting to see how things work here on, in the grand scheme of things, as these two teams get set to face off against each other. Let's start with Seattle. Like I said, the road team. Sam Darnold, I wouldn't be putting him out here as your fantasy quarterback. That's not where I would be leaning on here. And we're checking to see. We have some questions that already came in from Jonathan and George, so I will answer your questions momentarily. I would say in this matchup, Kenneth Walker III, that's somebody I put out. Zach Charbonnet, it's been minimal, right? There's not a lot to write home about in the win that they just had over the Saints, 44-13. If we take a look at that game, Kenneth Walker III, 16 carries, 38 yards, did have 2 touchdowns, but not a lot going on. We didn't see Zach Charbonnet in that game, and Kenneth Walker caught the only pass thrown his way. Torrey Horton, the rookie wide receiver, he caught a touchdown pass this past week out of Colorado State, 2025, 5th-round pick, 166 overall by Seattle. So that's one to kind of circle in as one of those sleeper guys, one of the guys you might want to pick up that's probably out there in free agency. I can't imagine that somebody drafted Torrey Horton unless you have a very, very deep league, and it's no offense to Torrey, just one of those later round rookies that I feel like people may not have even known who he was, and let's see how he comes up in this. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I'm going to call him a wide receiver too in this matchup. Well, actually, they're playing Arizona on the road, and Arizona, I don't really trust their defense. So let's call Jackson Smith and Jigba a 1. I'll call Cooper Kupp a low-end 1, high-end 2. Kenneth Walker III is worth a play as one of your first two your 2 running backs that you put out there, typically in many leagues. On the other side of it, for the Arizona Cardinals, as we take a look at them this season and just where things are, they just lost 16-15 on the road at the San Francisco 49ers, also in division. Kyler Murray was 22 of 35, 159, 1 touchdown, no picks. I'm not a big Kyler Murray, start him in fantasy fan at the moment. We saw Trey Benson, who's been working here, 10 carries, 42 yards, 4.2 yards a carry. Marvin Harrison was targeted 6 times, caught 3 for 44 yards. Trey McBride, 8 targets, 5 catches, 43 yards, but he did get a touchdown. So, and like I said, for those of you that have questions, we will be getting to those questions in just a moment after we cover this game. And make sure you continue to send your questions in, and we appreciate it as always. I said before the draft began that I didn't really want Marvin Harrison to go to the Arizona Cardinals. And the reason why I didn't want him to go to the Arizona Cardinals is because I didn't think that he would get what he needed from being on this team. I just had a feeling that this would not, just with Kyler Murray being up and down and around the corner and whatnot, I just didn't think that this would be the right fit for him. because you can't really trust that you're going to have consistency coming from Kyler Murray. And we've seen other wide receivers come through, veteran wide receivers come through, and it just didn't work out. And I didn't want this to happen to Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think that there's people that drafted Marvin Harrison that are frustrated, and rightly so, because it has been quiet. And that's the tough part of this, is that he's a talented guy, but you wonder if he was on another team, would he be a consistent touchdown grabber? Would he be somebody that, you could lean on and know that you're going to have at least 5 catches? He's going to be the guy that's leading in the receiving core. And, it was frustrating last year, and it's obviously frustrating this year. That frustration continues, and hopefully things get better, because it hasn't been great. And I want to tell you to play Marvin Harrison, but I got to call him a wide receiver too, because it's been quiet. Now, Trey McBride has finally been getting the ball. I was high on Trey McBride a while back, and so it's good to see that Trey McBride is actually getting utilized now. I was high on him, I want to say, when he first came into the game, 3 years ago? So I would play McBride in this. Trey Benson, let's call him a running back 2. And Marvin Harrison, I got to call him a wide receiver 2. I don't want to, but it's like my hands are tied. I don't really have a choice, because how often are we seeing the consistency of Marvin Harrison? And I don't necessarily blame that on Marvin Harrison, but it is the world that we're living in, and it's unfortunate for fantasy owners that you can't look at a guy like Marvin Harrison and think that that's going to be some automatic points for you. So the Dublin game is going to take us to the home team in Dublin, Ireland, is considered Pittsburgh, but they'll both be on neutral ground. The Minnesota Vikings, it's funny when, you think of the Vikings and conquering things and castles and whatnot, and then you see Dublin, Ireland, you're like, well, they probably should be the home team. But Minnesota is the home team in this matchup, and they will take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Vikings will. But I do want to get into your questions, and like I said, I saw a couple questions come in here. If you have a question, then send it out to us on our video here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com in our live internet streaming radio. So if you have a question, make sure that you send it over. The first question that we're going to go to will take me to Jonathan's question. He said, I'm 0-3. That's funny. The first 2 people that wrote in both said I'm 0-3. So I'm sad to hear that, Jonathan. I know you subscribed, so we appreciate that. George, I think you've subscribed as well. So thank you to that. Thank you for subscribing to the broadcast. And King, I saw your question come in as well, and I don't believe we've seen you before. So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to everybody that's watching and listening if you haven't yet. So we definitely appreciate you and can't thank you enough for being a part of the show. Let's go to Jonathan. I'm 0-3, just lost James Conner, got offered Adams. I'm guessing that's Devontae Adams. So just specify, especially with a name like Smith or Adams, just let me know. But Jonathan, I'm thinking that's Devontae Adams. So you said you've been offered Devontae Adams and Bucky Irving, but correct me if I'm wrong if it's not Devontae. For Barkley, my main wide receivers are Higgins and London. My running back, too, is Jordan Mason. Should you take the deal? No, you're not getting rid of Saquon Barkley. No. So, Jonathan, I would absolutely keep Saquon. I know you might feel like you need something, but Saquon, you don't give up a playmaker like that. So I would say no on that. And Augusto, I appreciate you coming on here. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. George, I'm going to your question next, and happy to have you all here. So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. George's question that's coming in to us is also being 0-3. Let's see what you got, George. Half PPR, Daniels at quarterback, Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, Ricky Pearsall, Matthew Golden, Darnell Mooney at wide receiver, Chase Brown, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams at running back, Kraft at tight end. Do I trade Jefferson and Breece for Bijan and DJ Moore? That's a good question. I mean, I think people are freaking out about Minnesota because JJ wasn't out there this past week, right? And, JJ is out for week 4. So I know there's some concern there. And God willing, he'll be okay. Definitely don't want to see him injured, especially everything that he's been through already. So do you trade Jefferson and Breece Hall for Beige? I mean, I like Beige, but DJ Moore, pardon me. I can see the value of this, but I think someone's trying to take advantage of your fire sale fear that Justin Jefferson's not going to get the ball. So if you were getting Jefferson and Bijan, I would say yes. So, I mean, I like getting Bijan. I don't like getting rid of Jefferson. So, George, I would probably hold. See what else they can offer you. The next question that we had come in will take me to King. Do I start Mayfield or Drake May this week? Man, Mayfield's been doing his thing. I mean, when we look at who's playing here, so you got Baker Mayfield going up against Philadelphia at home in Tampa, and that's a great game. We've seen them play in the playoffs. We've seen in the regular season trying to avenge a loss. And so that's been a great matchup these last few years between the Eagles and the Buccaneers. So you have so you have Drake May and you have Baker Mayfield. So let's go to Drake May's game. Drake May will be up against the Panthers. I mean, that's a favorable matchup. That's a very favorable matchup. But if we look at the numbers for Drake May so far this season, let's take a look at where he is at. So Drake May, let's see. So he has been 30 of 46. His completion percentage has been insane. 65.2, 82.6, 75.7. So he's completing almost 73% of his passes. I said he'd be better this year. I thought Mike Vrabel coming in is great for everybody. So Drake May, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2-0, and then 2-1. How's his yardage? 287, 230, 268. Yeah, I mean, man, Baker Mayfield, the tough thing about this is you have a quarterback with a favorable matchup, and then you have a quarterback who's just plain good. So this is probably one of the best questions I've gotten in a long time, King. Do I start Mayfield or May? The problem with the Carolina game, though, is I feel like that could be 30-13 New England, or it could be a low-scoring game where you're just frustrated and it's field goals. So, man, Mayfield, I would lean on more, especially with the comebacks he has, but May has the more favorable matchup. So, I mean, I think the matchup tells me Drake May, and his numbers haven't been bad. But if we look at Baker Mayfield by the numbers, once again answering your questions as we go through these games in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour every week, Wednesday, starting at 10 a.m. and going until we're done here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Let's take a look at Baker Mayfield this year. So Baker Mayfield, by the numbers, his completion percentage hasn't been as good, and his touchdown output has gone down, 3, 2, and 1. So I would say, and Incognito said, "What's up, Wake Up Call? What is going on this morning?" And so happy to have you here. King, I'm going to say May. I just like the matchup. And I didn't even realize that Baker's numbers have shifted downward here. I mean, his passing yards have gone up, but... And then let's go to Augusto. So would you trade I don't know if do you mean Keenan? So, Augusto, are you talking about Keenan Allen? I know you're talking about Alvin Kamara, but is that Keenan Allen that you sent over to me for Breece Hall and Brian Thomas Jr.? Would I trade Keenan Allen and Alvin Kamara for Breece Hall and Brian Thomas Jr.? Okay, so it's Keenan Allen. Yeah, so, okay. So, Augusto, I would say, I mean, Keenan Allen, he's a dangerous player, and Alvin Kamara is he's probably the only, well, Juwan Johnson's good too, but Kamara's the highlight of the Saints, who have just been bad this year. That's a good question. Y'all are sending me some really difficult questions here this morning, so I appreciate it. You're making me think. Alvin Kamara, Keenan Allen, Breece Hall, Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, Keenan Allen has the better quarterback. And, I mean, being back with the Chargers, I like what the Chargers are doing. I really do. Jim Harbaugh, has been awesome. So, let's look at Keenan Allen most recently. So, he had a touchdown, 7 catches, 65 yards. He was targeted 11 times. Brian Thomas Jr. been a little bit banged up this year. So, I mean, Keenan Allen scored in every game. He said, I don't know if Allen is going to keep up, and I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to come back. Right, that's the question. The question is, does Allen stay consistent, or, you know what I mean? I get it. You're thinking Brian Thomas Jr. can't stay quiet forever, but then the question that you're asking on the other side is, can Keenan Allen stay loud forever? And we know that that's a really good question. So what would you be getting, Brian Thomas Jr. and Breece Hall? So I guess the question comes down to, let's take a look at Breece Hall by the numbers, and then we'll take a look. So Breece Hall right now, 157 yards in 3 games. Some people get that in 1 game. He does not have a touchdown yet. And Alvin Kamara, now both of these teams are winless that these guys are on, Kamara and with the Saints and Breece Hall with the Jets. Kamara has 1 touchdown and 186 yards. So, yeah. Augusto. See, my problem is that Keenan Allen doesn't always stay healthy. He said with Quentin and Ladd McConkey, I think there's a lot of competition. There is, but he's been holding well. I mean, the question really is, Augusto, is if you trade away Keenan Allen, you're trading away a guy who's been more consistent than Brian Thomas Jr. so far. And Alvin Kamara's been better on the ground than Breece Hall. So you'd be getting rid of guys that are getting you points for guys that haven't really brought in a lot of points. So you're banking on the risk of the high reward that Breece is going to get going and BTJ is going to get going, but you'd be trading away people that you already know are going. So, man, I would stay with what you have in that specific trade. Incognito sent me a question here. What do we got here? Should I trade away Lamar, Flowers, Tracy, and Wicks for Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Saquon, and Trey Benson? Man, that's an interesting trade. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Tyrone Tracy, I'm guessing you're saying with that. If I'm wrong, correct me. And Dontavian Wicks. Well, I don't like you. I mean, you win arguably with Trey Benson, and you win with Saquon, but Kyler is not great. And Marvin Harrison goes as Kyler Murray goes. And I know people are freaking out over Lamar Jackson because he got sacked 7 times, but man, I mean, trading away Tracy and Wicks, I'm okay with, but it's Lamar and Flowers that I have an issue with because I mean, you have the opportunity for upside, but you're also in a situation, Incognito, where you're going to be bringing in 3 Cardinals. So if they have a bad offensive day, you're screwed multiple different ways. But then you get Saquon. I mean, I think the big roll of the dice is Arizona's team is such an enigma. They're not consistent. Huh. Yeah. I mean, right now you have variety, and you'd be leaning on Arizona heavily if you made that trade. So, Incognito, I would stay. Maybe see what else they can give you. I wouldn't want you trading away Lamar. That's one that I can't really stick with here. And then DX, I'm guessing that's Dante in a way. So just make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And Incognito, my pleasure, man. Happy to answer your questions. Y'all are asking me some really, really awesome questions today, which has been great to test to test myself. And Dante, I'm going to call you Dante here, DXNTE. Make sure to subscribe. Can I rank these defenses for this week? Lions D versus Cleveland, Texans D versus Tennessee, Chargers D versus the Giants. Good question. I would say Chargers 1, Texans 2. Well, Jackson Dart's going to start for the Giants this week, so that's going to be a little bit interesting. I would say, I got a feeling Tennessee's going to bounce back, though. I would, the Giants have been so bad, and so is Tennessee. So I'm going to say, for Dante, for yours, I'm going to say, I got to rank them, so I'll rank Texans, then Chargers, then Lions. Because the Lions, they could find a way to win, but I think Cleveland still's got some talent there that could do some things. Jay level up, trade Neighbors and Hall. So all these trades coming through. So Jay, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you for being here. Appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you so very much. We've only gotten one game so far because of your questions, and I appreciate that. We've been busy as all get out in our Fantasy Football Power Hour that comes to you every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. And, of course, we go until we're done. We say 10 to 11, but it's already 10:53, and we'll be rocking and rolling with this thing. So happy to have you here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Make sure to subscribe, bookmark, save, do all the things. And you can find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And, of course, if you forget anything I said, you can find literally everything in one place on wakeupcalldt.com. That is wakeupcalldt.com. Jay said, trade Neighbors and Hall. Everybody's trading Breece Hall or getting Breece Hall for BTJ and Henry. Thoughts? Trade Malik Neighbors and Breece Hall for Brian Thomas Jr. and Derrick Henry. Here's the thing, J-Level, is that we don't know what Neighbors is going to be with Jackson Dart. Every quarterback has their guy. I say that all the time, but I mean it. Every quarterback has their guy. Seriously. So the reality of it all is you don't know what's going to happen with a quarterback and with who they're going to feel most comfortable throwing to. It could be Malik Neighbors, and Malik Neighbors could excel, or he could pick some guy that people don't know, that people aren't even familiar with, and he could pick that specific player and throw to that player. So, I mean, that's the thing that we don't know in the grand scheme of things here is where he's going to go, and that's reality. So I don't know if I want you to get rid of Neighbors before we know what Dart is going to be like with him. The Brian Thomas Jr. thing, that it's enticing. And Derrick Henry, if people want to give up on Derrick Henry because he's had some struggling moments, that's the thing too, is people will try to take advantage of you. They will absolutely try to take advantage of you, right? You get frustrated with a guy who's not putting up a lot of numbers like Marvin Harrison Jr. right now, and they say, hey, don't you want to get rid of him? Don't you want to get rid of him? And they want you to forget how potentially talented he is just because you're frustrated in the moment. You have to be very careful in anything in life to not make an emotional decision. And I just feel like looking at Neighbors right now, I mean, we don't know what he's going to be. We don't know how this is all going to shake out. So I don't know if I want to tell you, yeah, absolutely, get rid of Malik Neighbors, because what if Malik Neighbors turns around and things click with him and Jackson Dart? What if they have a good relationship? What if he ups the ante on what we're going to get from what if Jackson Dart coming in ups the ante on what we're going to get from Malik Neighbors? So I don't know if I want to tell you to make that move yet. I mean, the Brian Thomas Jr., again, I do agree that there's upside in getting Brian Thomas Jr. I'm not going to say that there's not. But my question that comes in here is, if Malik Neighbors is helped by Jackson Dart and he looks even better on the field, you're going to kick yourself. And this is where I feel like people are taking advantage. They're going, yeah, he's done this and that, but it hasn't really been great with the quarterback that he has. And, if you give him to me, I'll give you a guy who's got a better quarterback instead of rolling the dice with a rookie. And they're going to make it sound like they're doing you a favor, which isn't necessarily the case. So I'm going to look back at this trade again. Let's see it again. All right, what do we got? KB and Swavey, I saw you come in here. Dante subscribed. Thank you, Dante. Appreciate you. So J level, I would probably hold, because I think Malik Neighbors I think he's good right now. So I'd hold. I want to see what he looks like with Jackson Dart. And don't freak out if Dart throws some interceptions. He is a rookie quarterback, and I thought he'd be coming in week 8 unless the team was really struggling. And the team is really struggling, which is why I understand him coming in. I would think maybe week 5, but it's week 4 and he's coming in. Augusto said, you think Kamara is going to get better because this offense is going nowhere? Kamara's done more right now than Breece Hall. And Kamara is the one bright spot, Augusto, to that offense with New Orleans, which I think will play multiple quarterbacks this season, honestly. Augusto said, this is my team. Pat Mahomes, Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, Cam Scatterbo. Good move there. He was one of my sleepers. Talking about Scatterbo. Wide receivers, Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, Wendell Robinson, Jacoby Myers, Keenan Allen. Tight end is Bowers. Okay, so I'm going to revisit your trade here. Breece Hall and Brian Thomas Jr. Let me look at your receivers again. So you would get Breece Hall and Brian Thomas Jr. And this is why it helps, because you sending me your entire team gives me the full look at everything. So you know what, Augusto? I would go with that trade. I would. I would go with that trade and bring in BTJ and Breece. I would do that. Because now looking at the rest of your team, now that you've given me more information here, I appreciate it. J Level said liked and subscribed. Appreciate you, man. So let's go to Incognito said thanks, you're welcome. And Swavey. So Swavey, make sure that you subscribe. Swavey JP. Like the name. One of my favorite names I've seen come through here. So make sure to subscribe while you're here on the channel. To everybody that hasn't yet, would appreciate it, and feel free to share us with people that you love and care about. So Swavey, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We talk about a little bit of everything. We talk Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, a lot of college football. I covered the college football playoff all the way to the national championship this past season, and we do a ton of work coast to coast, and we've been able to be all over the place internationally as well. So make sure to subscribe and be with us even outside of the world of fantasy football. So Swavey said trade Trey Benson, Quinshon Judkins, and Travis Hunter for Achane and BTJ. No. Because Benson's got upside, Travis Hunter has the two-way, and Achane is on a terrible offense, and Brian Thomas Jr. I like, but not with the Achane thing. So Swavey, I would say no to that trade specifically. And then what else did Swavey say to me? Where are we here? Gordon on waivers so I can secure the Miami backfield. Yeah. But Miami's a bad team. I like you getting Ollie Gordon off of waivers. I'm cool with that. But you losing Trey Benson, somebody's trying to take advantage of the fact that they think he's going to have upside. KB, appreciate you, KB Football. So KB, I saw all the stuff that came through here. KB, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And let's see what KB's got for me. I love it, folks. And Greg, I saw your question as well. Trade Henry and Key. I love the fact that we have not even gone to the second game, and y'all are blowing up the feed here. Appreciate you. So trade Henry and Keon Coleman for Olave and ETN. My running backs, okay. My running backs are Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, James Cook, and Bajal Tootin. Okay. My wide receivers are very lackluster with Garrett Wilson and Kelvin Ridley. So trade Henry and Keon Coleman for Olave and ETN. Yeah, there's got to be something better you can do, KB, because if you bring in Chris Olave, I agree with you. You need more wide receivers, but, Keon Coleman's on a good offense. Chris Olave is not. So KB, that initial one that you sent me, I would not do the trade where you get Olave, because that's not. And if you feel like you need wide receiver help, which I agree that you do, I would look at a trade where I'm bringing in a couple wide receivers, not just one, because you have good running backs. So I would think make a trade with somebody that can provide more wide receiver help. And Jay said, thanks, you're welcome. Greg, make sure you subscribe. Greg went through a trade here already. Greg, how dare you do trades without asking us first? So let's see what we got here. So, all right, Greg, what do we got? What's up, Maddie Randoms? Good to see you back, man. Broken, I will get to your question here in a second. So let's go to Greg here. What's Greg got for me? Greg Muggs, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. Just traded Breece Hall, Sam Laporta, and Ladd McConkey. How dare you make a trade without coming to us first? For Chase Brown, Drake London, and Keenan Allen. You have Ferguson at tight end. Okay, not great. Cook, running back 1, and Zay and Puka. London goes to your bench. You traded Breece Hall, Laporta, and Ladd McConkey for Chase Brown, Drake London, and Keenan Allen. I don't hate it. Breece Hall has been involved in so many conversations this morning with trades. It's crazy. Either trading him or getting him. So you got Chase Brown, Drake London, Keenan Allen. Okay, like I said, Keenan Allen right now, he is producing. Drake London's on a better offense, even though they looked really bad this past week. And speaking of Atlanta, and Chase Brown was a guy that I don't understand why people jumped off of so early when he was a rookie. But you traded Sam Laporta and you have Jake Ferguson as your tight end. I don't like that. That was not great. But Cook is your running back 1. Then you have Chase Brown. And then you have Zay, Puka, Drake, and Keenan. Okay. I don't mind what you got, but I wouldn't have gotten rid of the guys you did. That's the tough part on this. Broken, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you being here. Let's see what your question is here. What's Broken got for me? I got an offer to trade ETN and DJ Moore for Devontae Adams. Should I do it? I have Hampton. Where are we here? CMC and Kamara, so I think I'm fine at the running back position. Okay, so you got an offer to trade ETN and DJ Moore for Devontae Adams. So here's my question for you, Broken. Who are your wide receivers? That'll help me. The more information you give me, the better. So tell me who your wide receivers are, because I know who your running backs are. KB said, I don't want to have to trade Henry, but I need to upgrade from Ridley, but also be able to replace Henry. Also, the wide receivers I have on the bench aren't much better with them being Diggs and Keon Coleman, so I don't know. Yeah, KB, I mean, I know I answered your question here already, but I don't think Olave is a good upgrade for you at wide receiver. Broken said Myers and London. Okay. So you only have 2 wide receivers? So you have Myers and London. So Myers is good for PPR, and Drake's in a better offense now. Oh, boy. I'd like for you to get 2 players in this trade, Broken. See if they'll give you something more. And you have Troy Franklin. Well, Troy Franklin, as I told people last year, who did Bo Nix play college football with at Oregon? Troy Franklin, who's already had a big day in the first 3 weeks because they're on the same team in the NFL. Troy Franklin with Denver. So, man, okay. Oh, boy. So you have DJ Moore, Troy Franklin. So Franklin has upside. He could be a home run hitter at times, and then because of that connection, and then Myers and London. You have Hampton, CMC, and Kamara. I would see if they'd give you one more player, Broken. I would see if they can sweeten the pot by going 2 players for 2. By giving you... So see what else they got. That would... Another player, not players. So I would see if they could sweeten the pot for you on that, for sure. Who else we got? I don't want to have to trade... Okay, I read that. KB. By the way, my current lineup is Goff or Purdy, Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Ridley, Wilson, Kelsey, and Cook. I'm 2-1. Hey, not bad, man. Ridley's, Greg said I can potentially move London for Bowers and Ferguson for Achane. Okay. So you can move London for Bowers and Ferguson for Achane. I wouldn't do that, though. I don't want you to get rid of Drake London. I would keep London. Again, the Falcons had a bad week, and people are going to try and take advantage of that. And sometimes it's like what did I say about A.J. Brown last week? I said A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown. It's not like Jalen Hurts forgot who he was. And so there was people that were freaking out in the first 3 weeks. Like, what do I do? What do I do? And I was like, wait. And what did A.J. Brown do this past, or the first 2 weeks, I should say at the time. And what did A.J. Brown do this past week? He scored. So there you go. Jeffrey said, I was struggling at wide receiver. Jeffrey, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you being here. So Jeffrey said, I was struggling at wide receiver. I had Ricky Pearsall at wide receiver 1. So I traded him and Kamara for Hill and Flowers. I have Lamar at quarterback. My running backs are Gibbs and Mason Hill. And Flowers, my wide receivers. Wait a minute. So you traded Pearsall and Kamara for Mason Hill? Oh, Jordan Mason. And, okay, I'm confused. Hill and Flowers are your wide receiver. Oh, okay. It's Mason Hill. It's the way that it was without the comma. That confused me there. So you have Lamar. You have Jahmyr Gibbs and Jordan Mason. You have Tyreek Hill and Zay Flowers. And you have McBride and Ferguson. Okay. So you had Pearsall at your 1. You traded him and Kamara for Tyreek Hill and Zay Flowers, and that's good, Jeff. I like it. I like that trade. Make sure to subscribe. Broken said, I added Charbonnet. Hopefully it goes through. Yeah, the only issue with Charbonnet, Broken, let me know what other running backs are out there, because Charbonnet is not necessarily the one to pick up. It just depends on who's available, because every league's got different available players. Maddie said, I need a running back in a 14-team league. My running backs are bad. I have Chubb, Ollie Gordon. Now, Ollie Gordon's got some upside. Algier, he's got some upside. Charbonnet, not really sold on him. Rico Dowdle, no thank you right now. On the waivers are Singletary, DeMarcado, Gibson. Who do I drop at running back? Okay, Broken says he has Corum or Harvey. I like the upside of RJ Harvey. I would say Harvey, Broken, if he can sweeten that pot for you. Maddie said, I need a running back. You got Chubb, Gordon, Algier, Charbonnet, and Dowdle. But the guys that are out, I don't like any of the guys that are out there, man, Maddie. The guys that you sent me that are available, I would say no to all of them. Let's see here. Greg said, should I still try to move Ferguson for Achane and just play Kincaid as a tight end? Starting lineup would be Lamar, James Cook, Achane or Chase Brown, Puka, Zay, Kincaid, Flex, Keenan Allen, Chase Brown, Drake London. Should you try to move Jake Ferguson for Achane? Yeah, that's fine. If it's straight up, Greg, then that's fine. Straight up trade Ferguson where you get Achane, I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. Yeah, thank y'all for all your questions. Y'all have been keeping me busy this morning. All right, let's go to Minnesota and to Pittsburgh. This game is going to be played in Dublin, Ireland. J.J. McCarthy is out for this game. God willing, he will be back soon. Always praying and hoping the best. I never like to see anybody hurt, football or anything in life. So let's take a look. Let's go to Minnesota first in this matchup. So they beat the Bengals 48-10 in the battle of backup quarterbacks. Jake Browning was 19-27, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Carson Wentz, 14-20, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jordan Mason had over 100 yards. What did I say about backup quarterbacks? I said, look at the running back and look at the tight end. And what happened in this game? Jordan Mason, 16 carries, 116 yards, 7.3 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. And who was the second leading receiver? Tight end TJ Hawkinson, who was targeted 6 times, 1 less than Justin Jefferson, caught as many as Jefferson, 5, and had a touchdown, which Jefferson did not have. So in this Minnesota game against Pittsburgh, I would say Jordan Mason is a running back 2. Justin Jefferson is still worth putting out there, and I would say TJ Hawkinson is as well. On the Pittsburgh side of things, Aaron Rodgers, I told you pre-season that I believe that Aaron Rodgers was going to have, I believe he was going to have a good season. I thought he was going to have a more Aaron Rodgers-esque season. And and that Jets fans are going to be like, what the hell, man? Because they're going to look over there and see him. And this is not me wishing bad on the Jets or the organization or the fans or anything like that. Something inside of me said that Aaron Rodgers is going to play Aaron Rodgers football with Pittsburgh, and then people are going to go, what the hell, man? Why didn't that happen the last 2 years with us? And I like Aaron Glenn, but I absolutely am a big fan of Mike Tomlin. So Aaron Rodgers so far this season, by the numbers, let's see where he's at. So 4 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 2-1. Okay, so he's had 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 65% completion percentage on average. I mean, not bad. I don't know if I would play him in this game. I mean, he's not my QB1, is what I would say to you. Jalen Warren's been okay, underwhelming. Calvin Austin, again, every quarterback has their guy. Calvin Austin III, I told you I covered him at Memphis, interviewed him with the Memphis Tigers in my coverage of the American, and I just felt like Calvin Austin was better than maybe people thought he was because he wasn't really getting the ball. And now seeing him get out there and do some things with Aaron Rodgers is good to see. DK Metcalf, they both had touchdowns, Austin and Metcalf, most recently. So, I mean, I'm going to say Kenneth Gainwell in a deep league is probably a flex running back 4. I'm going to call Jalen Warren a low-end 2, high-end 3. Hopefully you're in a league where he could be your 3. I hope he's not your 1. And if you're in a deep league, he might be your 2. DK Metcalf, I'm going to call a wide receiver 2. Calvin Austin III, I'm going to tell you to flex out, but I do like him in the game. And Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth, I mean, these are 2 guys that are both going to be used. I mean, Aaron's going to go where Aaron sees the opportunity. So I don't trust either one of them to be my fantasy tight end right now, in my opinion. So with that being said, let's hop on to the next game here. Let's go Washington at Atlanta, the Commanders at the Falcons. And so taking a look at the Commanders first, as they are the road team here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. If you have a question, send it in. We are on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and of course, we are here with you in the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Make sure you head to the Wildcat to watch all your games, not just the NFL, but all throughout the week on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. And of course, you can get takeout and delivery if you're going to be watching from home or to a friend's house. You can get takeout and delivery from the Wildcat by calling 315-487-2222. That's 315-487-2222. So Jaden Daniels, he is questionable to come back in this game. God willing, he does. If Jaden Daniels does come back, I think he's worth the play. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I'm going to call him, while they're playing in Atlanta, I'm going to call him a running back 2. Scary Terry has a quad injury. If he's able to go, I like Terry in this game. And if he's not, I like Deebo Samuel even more, but I still like Deebo Samuel. Let's take a look at Washington in this last week. They won 41-24 with Marcus Mariota, former number 2 overall pick. And Mariota only had 1 touchdown they had to throw in this game. Jeremy McNichols scored on the ground. Mariota scored on the ground. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt scored on the ground. Scary Terry had 3 catches for 74 yards. Luke McCaffrey had a touchdown, 56 yards. Ertz caught all 3 thrown his way for 38. So in this game against Atlanta, like I said, if Jaden's able to go, I like Jaden. I like Terry McLaurin. I like Deebo. If Terry is not able to go, I like Deebo more. But God willing, Terry and Deebo will be out there for you. And then Ja'Cory, like I said, I think he's worth the play. I'll call him a running back 2. Zach Ertz, I'm going to call him a low-end tight end 1 for this week. On the other side, for Atlanta, again, people are nervous, freaking out. What do I do with Drake London because Atlanta had a bad week? Well, again, you can't make a decision simply on one bad week. I caution people when they get very trade happy or drop happy over a week. I mean, Atlanta lost to the Panthers on the road 30-0. That was a horrible game. Michael Penix threw 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Beige had 72 yards on the ground. He still looked good. Algier didn't get used that much. He had 1 carry. He had 1 catch on 2 targets. I mean, Beige is Beige. Beige had a good day. Beige had over 100 yards all-purpose and 4 catches on 6 targets. Mooney got involved, targeted 11 times. Drake London didn't look terrible. 8 targets, 5 catches, 55 yards. So, I mean, in this game, I would say play Bijan Robinson. Algier, I'm going to call him a flex. I'm going to call him a running back 4 this week. I'll downgrade him from 3 to 4. And then I still like Beige. I like Beige every week until he shows me otherwise. And Kyle Pitts, let's see what Pitts did this past week. Kyle Pitts, 4 catches, 6 targets, 39 yards. Not awful. So I'm going to call Pitts a tight end 2 this week, and I still like Drake London. Darnell Mooney, I'm going to call him a wide receiver 3 because I want to see more consistency out of him. We got some more questions that came in. Julian I don't think Julian's ever been with us before. So, Julian, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you for being here. Man, what did Maddie say? Who do I start? Charbonnet, Gordon, Algier, or Dowdle? I mean, looking at those four, I would say, man, I'd say Ollie Gordon I feel the best about, but that's tough. And then Sloppy Joe's Sloppy Show, what a name, and an Eagles fan. How about it? So, Sloppy, thanks for being with us. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Julian said, trade away Pittman and Pollard for Egbuka and Henderson. Yes. Julian, yes. Yes to you getting Egbuka and where are we here? And I'm guessing that's Travion Henderson. If it is, I'm saying yes. Just let me know. Sloppy Joe said Chase and Kamara for Scadaboo, Egbuka, and Josh Jacobs. What are you getting, Sloppy Joe? Are you getting Scadaboo, Egbuka, and Josh Jacobs? That's my question. If you're getting Scat, let's see here, the 3-piece 18-team league. So Scat, if you're getting, or pardon me, so Scat, so Sloppy Joe, if you're getting Scadaboo, Egbuka, and Jacobs, then I would say that. I would say yes. Then I would say yes. So. Manny said Addison or Kirk at the flex. I have Hawkinson as my tight end too. Guys on the same team playing. Is that a good idea? So, Maddie, tell me who you're thinking of playing this week. And Sloppy Joe, make sure to subscribe. Appreciate you. And my best to you with your show as well. So, yeah, Maddie, send me who your starters are, and that'll help me figure that out for you. Julian said, yes, it is. He might offer Keenan Allen instead of Egbuka. What do you think if that was the case? Tell that man if the trade is Egbuka, then it's Egbuka. You can't be changing the terms of the deal. Get out of here. So that's what I would say, Julian. I'd say get out of here, man. I want Egbuka because I feel like it. So, yeah, man. I mean, Pittman and Pollard for Egbuka and Henderson? Yes. Pittman and Pollard for Allen and Henderson? I would still say yes. But I like Egbuka more. So, Julian, you tell him to keep the terms of the deal or the deal is off. And then when he goes, wait, that's when you ask for Egbuka, Allen, and Henderson just because, right? You got to own the room, my man. You got to own that room. So, yeah, I mean, if it's Keenan Allen, I still like it. Maddie said what? Egbuka, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Jordan Addison, Christian Kirk, Rashid Shaheed. Those are your starters? Or are those just all of your wide receivers? Let me know, Maddie. Are you starting all of them, or are those just your wide receivers? Julian, if it's Keenan Allen, I still like the trade, but I like it more if it's Egbuka. So Maddie said those are all his wide receivers. All right, Maddie, I will look at your team and assess it. Send me who your starters are, Maddie. And let's figure this out together. Always appreciate you being a part of the show. Maddie's one of our constant viewers, listeners, and always writes into the show. Next game up, oh my goodness. The Buffalo Bills are 3-0. Don't trip up in this game. The New Orleans Saints are so freaking awful. But we'll take a look at this right after the fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company. With locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Make sure you get over there to them Monday through Saturday. You can also go and visit GreatLakesHondaCity.com, and at GreatLakesHondaCity.com you can see what you will be buying or leasing, as well as just look at that new and used vehicle inventory that they have. And so make sure you go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com today. If you have a question or a thought inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, send it over to us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented to you by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Let's go to that Saints-Bills game. Maddie said, and Ryan sent me a question here. So Ryan, Tampa, I wonder where you're from, Ryan. So are you from Tampa? Are you a Tampa fan is the question. But Ryan, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell while you're here. Appreciate you. So Maddie said, no, it's a flex. All right. So Maddie, you got what? Daniel Jones, Abuka, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Bijan, Breece Hall, Hunter Henry, TJ Hawkins. Okay. So you got Hawk. And on the bench, Kirk, Addison, Tyler Warren, Algier, Shaheed, and Gordon. Man. I want to look at Ollie Gordon for a second. To answer your question before we get into Saints and Bills, let's go to Ollie Gordon. I had some good feelings about Ollie Gordon going into the season, and some people were high on him, and then some people dropped off so fast. And Ollie Gordon, he scored this past week. 4.2 yards a carry and only 3 less carries than Devon Achane, the starter. So Ryan said, born and raised in Tampa. I like it, man. St. Pete's Beach, my favorite beach in the world up to this point, right there in that Tampa area. So, Maddie, let's take a look at this. Daniel Jones, Abuka, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Breece Hall, Hunter Henry, okay, on the bench. Kirk, and okay. Okay. Maddie, I would tell you to take Hunter Henry off of one of your flexes, and I would say, I would say, man, this is tough. I'm going to say, let's see how Tyler Warren's done. I want to tell you to put Tyler Warren in that spot, but I think Tyler Warren's going to get going. The question is, where is he at right now? So, I mean, he had 5 targets, 3 catches, and the Colts this week, they got the Rams on the road. So, Maddie, I would actually tell you to put Tyler Warren in the place of Hunter Henry, and then put Ollie Gordon. Who's Miami playing? Miami's playing the Jets on a Monday Night Football doubleheader. So, Maddie, I would say Warren and Gordon as your flexes. So, Ryan, you got a question for me? Okay, let's see what we got. 2 running backs, CMC, James Cook. 2 wide receivers, DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors. Tight end. Is your tight end Juwan Johnson? Is that JJ? Just let me know. And then flex, David Montgomery. Bench, I'm guessing that's Troy Franklin and Jordan Addison. Thorne, Shaheed, Wendell Robinson, Evans out. Not confident in my lineup. Any trade ideas? 10-man full PPR. You're 3-0. And there's only one other 3-0 team. Okay, so yeah, it is Juwan Johnson. Okay, so you're not confident in what you have right now? Okay, so let me just take a look at something for you. Boy. So Mike Evans with a hamstring strain, having him out is awful. God willing, he'll be okay and get well. Maddie said, thank you. You're welcome, sir. And Josh Allen's your quarterback. Okay, so you got Josh Allen, CMC, James Cook. We're not changing that. Neighbors as one of your guys. Okay. Any trade ideas? I would... I mean, I would see what people are willing to trade you for Shaheed or Wendell Robinson. Ryan, you can also tell me who's out there in the free agency or waiver wire, because you might not have to trade somebody. You might just be able to pick somebody up. Ryan said, I don't like starting Moore and Monty against the Browns, and Giants sketchy, especially with their schedule. Yeah, Giants, you don't know what's going to happen. So I look to see, can you move Shaheed and Wendell? And you don't like DJ Moore and Monty against the Browns. I mean, David Montgomery is good, man. I think the Lions, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, in games that they don't win, they're still good. So, those guys just had a good Monday Night Football outing, right? So I'd probably, I'm okay with you playing Monty. Let's go to the Saints at the Bills. The Saints they've been awful this year. So Alvin Kamara, I'm going to call him a running back too. Spencer Rattler seems to like Juwan Johnson. Finally, maybe Juwan Johnson can have some consistency. I'm going to call Juwan Johnson... I'm going to call him a tight end too this week just because he's playing Buffalo at Buffalo. Chris Olave, let me call him a wide receiver 2. And then on the other side, Josh Allen, yes. Cook, yes. Keon Coleman, yes. Khalil Shakir, yes. Dalton Kincaid, yes. Even more so because they're playing the Saints. And then let me go to the next game that we have on the docket here. So it is that Browns game against Detroit. And who had that field goal for the Cleveland Browns? Somebody who's been on the show numerous times, and somebody I consider to have a nice relationship with on and off the field. And I just respect this guy. The Green Bay Packers allowed 13 points in the fourth quarter after shutting out the Browns on the road in the first 3 quarters. And who had that game-winning field goal? Syracuse Orange alum, none other than the man, Andre Schmidt. It's spelled S-Z-M-Y-T. It's pronounced Schmidt. So remember that. And his field goal of 55 yards, doing his thing and getting that walk-off. It's the longest walk-off field goal by a Cleveland Brown kicker ever. And Andre Schmidt, he's just awesome. Syracuse has had some amazing punters and kickers, and they've had just some great special teams guys. So I would say if you need a kicker, I would go and get Andre Schmidt right now because he's probably out there in free agency. I might go get him. So if you're in my league, you didn't hear what I just said. So let's, I'm going to have to take that Men in Black thing and just make sure you forgot what just came out of my mouth. But yeah, let's look at the Browns most recently here. Quinshon Judkins, he had a touchdown, 94 yards. David Njoku's getting more involved. Harold Fannin is staying involved, so both of those tight ends. Jerry Jeudy targeted 5 times, caught 1 for 17 yards. Joe Flacco is still the quarterback. I'm going to say they're playing the Lions, and they're playing on the road. So I will say Jerry Jeudy is a wide receiver 2. I would say David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. are wide receiver 2s because neither one of them has taken it from the other. And then I'm going to say Judkins. If you have Judkins, I'd flex him out. If you're in a deep league, he might be a 2. I'd prefer that he is your 3 at running back. On the other side, let's look at what Cleveland's done this year so far. So they've allowed 17 points, 41 points, and 10 points, pardon me. Jared Goff, like I said, he just had a great Monday night, 38-30. He has aided the Detroit Lions in putting up 90 points in the last 2 weeks. He only had one touchdown. I mean, their rushing attack, again, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. So, I mean, it's Jared Goff. They're playing Cleveland. I'm going to call him a low-end 1, high-end 2 at quarterback. Gibbs and Montgomery, play them. I'm on Ross St. Brown. I would play him. And Jamison Williams, I'm going to call him a wide receiver 3, and I would start Sam Laporta. I like the tight ends in this game. It's just with Harold Fannin and David Njoku, they're kind of eating off of each other's fantasy plates. So it's great for Cleveland, but not necessarily great for you, because I don't think anybody's going to have a huge day. They're going to split the time with each other. We're going to go into this. Man, the AFC South has just had all these divisional matchups early on here, and they're going to continue with Tennessee at Houston. Ryan said he's concerned about DJ Moore. Yeah, I understand that, man. Maddie said my starting team, Jones, Abuka, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, Bijan, Brees Hall, Tyler Warren, Addison, Gordon, Little, and Packers this week. Thank you, Dan. You're welcome, man. My pleasure. Connie Bow said I'm 1-2. All right, Connie. Connie, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell while you're hanging out with us here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And, of course, the Fantasy Football Power Hour, which is already over an hour, is proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. We appreciate being here. Connie said, I'm 1-2. Okay. I had James Conner, Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb. They all went down with injury. Got offered Ladd McConkey and DeAndre Swift for CeeDee Lamb. I also have Chase Brown, who's basically unstartable now. Interesting. Why do you think Chase is unstartable? People want to give up on Chase Brown, man. They've been wanting to give up on him since he came in the league. He didn't have a good day, but nobody had a good day against Minnesota on the road. So you got offered Ladd McConkey and Swift for CeeDee Lamb? I mean, someone's trying to take advantage of the fact that CeeDee Lamb is injured. So, I mean, I like the trade. The problem is if CeeDee Lamb comes back healthy and well, then, you know, are you kicking yourself that you let him go? Yeah. So I would say, let's see here. He'll miss 4 to 6 weeks with the high ankle sprain. Yeah, because that's what it typically is. God willing, he'll be okay and come back better than ever. So, Connie, I'm going to say, yeah, make the trade. You get Ladd and DeAndre Swift. So, where's Connie here? So, Connie, like I said, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would make the trade to bring in Ladd and Swift. So, I'm okay with that. Swift. There we go. Yeah, Connie, make the deal. Maddie said, my other team from my other league, Mariota, Jamison Williams, Keenan Allen, Henry, Gentry, Juwan Johnson, Shaheed, Tootin, Charbonnet, Worthy, Edison, Likely, IR, Kittles, and Spears, my kicker, Reichard, and defense is Buffalo. Okay. I dropped Ryland for Reichard. Okay. Yeah, not a bad team. I mean, Isaiah Likely hasn't been really utilized, and Worthy's been hurt. Ryan wrote to Connie, said, sell Lamb before a possible 6-week IR announcement. Evan's schedule is great rest of the year. So, yeah, Connie, I'm good with it. Ladd McConkey, DeAndre Swift, and keep Mike Evans. Connie said, Browning and O-line aren't good. I'll hold Chase Brown since his value is still low. Yeah, of course. Connie said, thanks for the advice. Happy to help. Hope you stay with us here and make sure to subscribe. SSG, same thing here. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to your question next. So SSG, I need cover for CeeDee Lamb, giving James Cook and Wendell Robinson for Nico Collins and Jalen Warren, or I could get Amari and Hampton. Okay. So you would give up James Cook Okay, so SSG, let me know. You're giving up James Cook and Wendell Robinson. You're getting Nico Collins and Jalen Warren. I don't like that because every quarterback has their guy. I always say that. I've said it today. And we don't know if Wendell's going to get more looks with Jackson Dart. And I don't like you giving up James Cook for Jalen Warren because I don't like Jalen Warren right now. So I would say no to that deal. And then Maddie said, do I play Buffalo defense all season or pick up another? I mean, you got Buffalo defense against the Saints right now, so I would say just stay with them right now. But yeah. Yeah, SSG, I would not make that specific trade, no. I understand your CD issue, but I would not make that trade. The specific trade that you sent me. Let's go to Tennessee at Houston. 2 0-3 teams, and unless they tie, somebody's going to have a win in this AFC South matchup. So how about it? I mean, someone's going to get a victory, probably, right? You would think. So let's take a look. Let's go. Tennessee is at Houston, so go Tennessee first. I mean, I told y'all I wasn't sold on Cam Ward leading a franchise. So, I mean, I'm not. I still feel that way. I don't wish bad on him. I hope he does well. I hope he proves me wrong. Honestly, I hope he's amazing. I wouldn't have drafted Cam Ward to lead my franchise. That's my opinion. I mean, Tony Pollard scored. He's all right. Chigoziem Okonkwo, he did some good things. Cam Ward seems to like Alec Iomanner, which is why I picked him up as my 6th and final wide receiver. 5 targets, 4 catches, and had a touchdown. He liked him in the preseason. That's why I picked him up. Every quarterback has their guy. So Iomanner is a sneaky flex this week as a sleeper. I would say you can flex him in a deep league as a wide receiver 3 and a not as deep league as a wide receiver 4. Tony Pollard, I'm going to call him. I mean, he's playing Houston on the road. I'm going to call Pollard a running back 3. And Calvin Ridley, I don't trust right now. For Houston, they've looked bad. They've definitely looked bad. So, Ryan, I will get to your question here. And then SSG said, what if I get Omari and Hampton instead of Warren? Nah, man, I don't like you giving up James Cook. And Wendell Robinson could be one of the targets that Jackson Dart has. You'll be kicking yourself if Jackson Dart decides to throw to Wendell Robinson out of the gate. And again, Jackson Dart's going to make mistakes, and you have to give him time. So, Stroud, man, he didn't look good at all. Nick Chubb, Nico Collins looked good. Still. I mean, I like Nico Collins in the game. What did Christian Kirk do? 8 targets, 3 catches, 25 yards. So, he's not going yet. Yeah, I would say for Houston, the only one I feel good about is Nico Collins. And Dalton Schultz, because he's playing Tennessee. And he's already getting targeted and he's already catching the ball. And he's playing a defense that I don't trust at all. So, yeah, I would say Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz for this Houston game. Let's go to Carolina at New England. This was the Super Bowl that started it all for Tom Brady and Bill Bellies. So, Carolina beat the Falcons 30-0. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I know I did not. So, if we go back and we look at Carolina, and I saw, Ryan, your question came in here, and Luke, so I will get to your questions next. Let me take a look at Carolina here in this matchup. First, Carolina at New England. Road team first, as always. Chuba, I mean, Rico Dowdle had a touchdown, but 10 carries for 30 yards, not great. Tetaroa still looks good, and they're playing New England. I like Tetaroa and McMillan in this game. Chuba and Rico, I mean, yeah, I would flex out either one of those guys as a running back 3. The only Carolina guy that I like is Tetaroa right now in fantasy. And then for New England, they just lost at home to Pittsburgh, 21-14. Drake May didn't look bad. He was a leading rusher. That's not great news for the team. Hunter Henry, he's getting involved. He had 2 touchdowns in the last game. And they're playing Carolina. So, Maddie, if you're still listening, maybe I do like Hunter Henry more than I like Tyler. I don't know. I think Tyler Warren's going to have a good week, though. Ramondre Stevenson's catching the ball out of the backfield. Kayshawn is still doing some good things. Travion Henderson's getting involved. I mean, I would say in this game, I'm going to call Travion Henderson a running back 2. I'm going to call Ramondre a 3. I'm going to call Hunter Henry. I mean, I would start. I'm going to call Hunter Henry a mid-range tight end 1 in this matchup. And because they're playing Carolina, if you had a week to play Drake May, this could be your week. I'm going to call him a mid-range QB1, but, I mean, I do like him in this game. So before we go to what, I have no idea what happened with the computer. Okay, so I think we're okay. We should be okay. God willing. Okay, I think we're all right. So hopefully y'all can still hear us and see us. So, good old modern day technology doing its thing, as always. So, before we get to what I said is what I think is going to be the Giants' 4th loss of the season in 4 games, let's go to Ryan. Am I crazy to start Thornton over Moore this week? Are you crazy for doing that? Tyquan Thornton? I mean, I think Kansas City only has a win in 3 games because they played a Giants team that's been just terrible. Tyquan Thornton, I mean, yeah, he got involved, but that wide receiver core is just up in the air. So starting him over DJ Moore, who's playing the Raiders. I mean, yeah, I think that's a little crazy, Ryan. I do. Ryan said, turn off the cell phone Wi-Fi. Oh, that's smart. How about it? So, you mean if I'm using the cell phone and the computer at the same time? How about it? So, let's see what we got here. Luke said, and Luke, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Appreciate you being here, Luke S. Considering starting Debo over Brian Thomas Jr. or Zay Flowers if Daniels is playing this week, what do I think? Tell me who your other receivers are, Ryan. Or Luke. Luke, who are your other wide receivers? Make sure you send that off to me. That'll be helpful. Ryan's sake for Derrick Henry to get benched. Let me see here. What would it take for Derrick Henry to get benched, or is there just no possible chance even if he fumbles every game? I don't think Derrick Henry's going to get benched. So, Luke said, my wide receivers are Debo, BTJ, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and Zay Flowers. So, you're considering starting Debo if Daniels plays over Brian Thomas Jr., who's on the road, or Zay Flowers? I mean, Zay's got a big game against Kansas City. And you got Jackson Smith and Jigba against Arizona. I understand that. I mean, can you flex out another one of them? I don't mind you playing Debo, but I don't know if I want to leave Brian Thomas Jr. and Flowers on my bench, Luke. Let's go to the Chargers game that will take us into MetLife Stadium. I'm excited for Jackson Dart. I really am. I just want to temper people's expectations because he's a rookie quarterback and it's going to take time. I mean, he could come out there and do well, right? Michael Penix had a great jump off to his career. So I like Justin Herbert in the game. I like Amari and Hampton because they're playing the Giants. I like Ladd McConkey. I like Quentin Johnston as a flex out for you. I like Keenan Allen as a wide receiver. Low end 1, high end 2 because they're playing the Giants. Cam Scatterbo, I told y'all that this guy was going to end up being the starter, that I wouldn't be surprised if he was. So Tyrone Tracy, God willing, he'll be well. He is doubtful with a shoulder injury. But I like Scadaboo in the game. I'll call him a flex running back for you. I like Neighbors. I like Wendell Robinson to flex out because, like I said, every quarterback has their guy. So there is some fantasy value in this. I wouldn't be starting Jackson Dart, but I do like what's out here for you. Let's go to Philadelphia and Tampa Bay in this matchup. So Philly and Tampa, I think there's a lot. I mean, there's obviously a ton of fantasy value in this game. So I saw some questions that came in. I'll get to them. I like Jalen Hurts. I like Saquon Barkley. I like A.J. Brown. I like Devontae Smith. And Dallas Goedert. I'm going to call Dallas a mid to low end tight end 1. And then for Tampa, I like Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving. Mike Evans is doubtful, and Chris Godwin, questionable. So Emeka Ibuka, I like him more in this game. You might want to flex out a Sterling Shepard if you can afford to do that, because he might get some action, but I like Emeka Ibuka in this matchup for sure. I would definitely look at Emeka Ibuka for this one. So yeah. So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, we appreciate you all for being here and being with us on Wake Up Call. And of course, we have more questions that have come in, so let me address those questions. Maddie said, Derrick Henry, 6'3", 250, all muscle. I think they're scared to tell him. I don't think he's going anywhere. Luke said, yeah, that's been the dilemma every week. BTJ underperforming. Zay had 3 targets versus the Lions. Yeah. I mean, I understand you playing Debo because he can also take carries. Ryan said Dart can do well for 2 weeks, but then they have Philly at Denver, at Philly. There's just no way. Yeah, I mean, I'm not starting him as a fantasy quarterback for sure. I'm not going into that world with him. So I would say to stay away from that. But I do like the world of Philly and Tampa because there is a bunch of fantasy value that's going to come from that. And that'll take me into bringing you the Colts at the Rams. So let's do the Colts at the Rams. And I would say for this matchup, for the Colts, I mean, going up against the Rams, you're on the road, but I still do like what the Indianapolis Colts are doing. Daniel Jones has done a great job. I like Jonathan Taylor. I like Tyler Warren in this game as a mid to low range tight end 1. Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, who's going to be the guy. I mean, Alec Pierce is injured. He has a concussion, so God willing, he'll be okay. So, I mean, I would say Jonathan Taylor and Tyler Warren are the ones that I like in the matchup. And then as far as the Rams go, I mean, Matty Stafford, I'm going to call him low end 1, high end 2. I like Kyron Williams in the game, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams in this matchup. I think there's fantasy value on either side of this thing. So I would definitely look to that. And then outside of that, for some reason, it's not allowing me to circle on this, so just know what games we're talking about here. My apologies on that. Let's go to Jacksonville at San Francisco. But before we do that, we have Luke who's chimed in here. Maddie said, will Jaden Daniels play this week? That's something to monitor. If he's okay to go, then he's worth putting out there. Luke, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. What's Luke got for me? Luke says, should I trade Keenan Allen and Pat? Is that Pat Mahomes? Let me know who the Pat is, Luke. For London, ETN, and Stroud. I have Gibbs, Chase Brown, Devontae Smith, Sutton, Tyreek, Addison, and Golden. Should you trade Keenan Allen? If that's Pat Mahomes, yeah, no. No. For Stroud? No. No, Luke. I would say no to that trade. Ryan said, how do you feel about Brandon Ayuk? I can't help but feel he could be a waiver sleeper of the year. I mean, Mac Jones is doing a good job. So, I mean, Ayuk could be a sleeper in that respect. I don't deny that. That could be a case for sure. So let's go to Jacksonville at San Francisco. Travis Etienne is worth the play. Basil Tootin, we'll call him a little low-key flex, running back 3. Brian Thomas Jr., I'm going to call him a wide receiver 2. That San Francisco defense has been doing some good things. I like San Fran's D in this game. And then Mac Jones is questionable for this week, and Brock Purdy is questionable as well. So I like Christian McCaffrey in that sense. Probably the only one I like for San Fran to be out there for you with both of their quarterbacks on the injury report, and God willing, they'll be okay. Huff James said, trade ETN and Hunter for Drake London. Well, Huff, I appreciate the question. Make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And to answer your question, let's see what we got here. ETN and Hunter for London. I'm going to say no. Do you get defensive points for Travis Hunter? Is a question, but I would say no. Because ETN's still the number 1 guy in Jacksonville, and he does catch the ball out of the backfield, so he does provide multiple looks for you. So let's go to Baltimore at Kansas City. And that's going to take me to Baltimore first. Baltimore, I know, again, people freaking out. And Huff said, thanks, you're welcome, sir. So Lamar Jackson, worth the play. Derrick Henry, worth the play. I think Zay Flowers is worth the play. I'll call him a wide receiver 2 in this game, but I think he's worth the play. And I like Mark Andrews to help them out. I'm kind of mid-range tight end on Mark Andrews right now, but I like him. And then as far as Pat Mahomes, yes. Travis Kelce, yes. Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver 3. Hollywood Brown, wide receiver 3. Xavier Worthy, questionable with the shoulder labrum injury. God willing, he'll be okay. I want to take a look at how Isaiah Pacheco, where he's at right now. So Pacheco, yeah, he's been quiet. I'm going to call Pacheco, I'm going to call him a running back 3. I'm not sold on him being one of my first 2 guys. And then we'll go to Chicago at the Raiders for the boom. And I will go, I mean, Chicago's got some good stuff happening. I like Rome Odunze every week until I don't. So I'm going to say DeAndre Swift. So, I mean, they're playing the Raiders. I don't trust the Raiders at all. So this might be a week you play Caleb Williams if you got somebody out. But I like DeAndre Swift. DJ Moore, I'm going to call him a wide receiver 3. Rome Odunze is a wide receiver 1. He is until he's not. Like I said, Ashton Gentry, I like him. I like Brock Bowers. I don't know if Geno's going to be the guy that continues to throw to him. Hopefully they'll get that figured out and get that right. Jacoby Myers is good for PPR. So I do see value with each of those guys. I mean, a most recent look at the Raiders in the loss 41-24 on the road in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. I mean, Gentry did all right. Trey Tucker had 3 touchdowns, 8 targets, 9 catches, 145 yards. He's a guy where it's like, you know, when he was a rookie, I'm sitting here thinking, is he going to show up? And he showed up in this last game. So, I mean, they're playing the Bears, and they'll probably key in on Trey Tucker. So you can maybe flex out Tucker, but I'm not convinced that he's an every week guy until he shows me that. Green Bay at Dallas. This game feels like it should be an important game, but Green Bay, again, enigma. You know, you shut out the Browns for 3 quarters and then you lose to them by giving up 13 points and they shut you out in the fourth quarter. So Green Bay's been all over the place. Dallas has had some good moments. I don't know what this game is going to look like. I don't trust Jordan Love. I'll say yes to Josh Jacobs. I don't trust any of the wide receivers. Tucker Kraft, I'll say mid-range tight end 1 for Green Bay. On the other side, I like Javonte Williams for Dallas. I like George Pickens in this game. CeeDee's doubtful, so God be with him on this. And Jake Ferguson, I'm going to call him a mid to low range tight end 1. I do like Javonte Williams the most for Dallas, and I'll give Pickens a little bit of love in this one as well for Sunday Night Football. The Monday night doubleheader is going to be the Jets at Miami and the Bengals at the Broncos. We'll go to the Jets at Miami game first, and let's take a look. Jets at Miami. So these are 2 horrible teams. Again, 2 0-3 teams, just like Houston and Tennessee. So unless they tie, somebody will have their first win. And we'll go to the Jets. They're playing Miami, so I like Breece Hall. I like Garrett Wilson. That's really it. For the Miami Dolphins, because, I mean, this might be a game where we just see the running backs get after it. I like Devon Achane. Ollie Gordon, I'll call a flex running back. Tyreek Hill, yes. Not really sold on Jalen Waddle. I'll call him a wide receiver too. I'll still call Tyreek a 1. And then the last game that we have to go to is going to be the Bengals at the Broncos. So let's go to Bengals at the Broncos. Bengals first. And thank you for all your questions today. Y'all kept me busy as all get out. So Bengals, Chase Brown at the Broncos. Yeah, I wouldn't be playing Chase Brown in this game. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, okay. I would play the Broncos defense, especially because they're under the lights, and I think they do well with it. Bo Nix, I'm going to call him a low-end 1, high-end 2 at quarterback, but not a bad guy to have on Monday night. R.J. Harvey, I think would be a good flex for you. J.K. Dobbins, I will say running back 2. And then Troy Franklin, I would call a flex, and Cortland Sutton, I would say, is worth the play. But I would lean on, I think Denver's going to handle this game. If they could shut down Chase, then I feel good about it. So with that being said, this has been the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. We appreciate y'all and thank y'all for being here. I want to thank all of my wonderful businesses that I have the pleasure of working with. And, of course, Great Lakes Honda City Studios for being our exclusive studio partner. My many thanks today are going to go out to, as they always do in every show, to the wonderful team that we have, Great Lakes Honda City, as well as many thanks going out to Carvel DeWitt, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek in Cazenovia in the country on 33 Rippleton Road in Kaz, as well as where we will be this weekend after the Duke-Syracuse game. Wake Up Call Game Day will be live at Myers Creek, Syracuse Inner Harbor, 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York at approximately 6 p.m. following the Syracuse-Duke football game. So come out and see us at Myers Creek for dinner after the game. Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Avicoli's, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Bryan's Landing, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, your Binghamton University Bearcats, and your Onondaga Community College Lasers. You will find the Bobcats every month in the Bobcat Buzz. You'll find the Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time in Bearcat Time. And you'll find the Lasers every other Wednesday during our laser time, which happens every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, bi-weekly on Wake Up Call, and the next one will be October 1st. So, believe it or not, October is next week. And so they will be on Wednesday, October 1st at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, you can find all of our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell like you did for Fantasy Football today. You'll find our Bobcats on the BSC Syracuse playlist, the Bearcats on the Binghamton playlist, and the Lasers on the OCC playlist. You'll also find them all by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bsc Bobcats for the Bobcats, and of course, you will find the Bearcats on binghamtonbearcats.com and the Lasers on OnDoDoggLasers.com. And of course, we appreciate y'all and thank y'all for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. God bless. No stress. Do your best here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So 11.